meets that thing called life. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day today and always making the most of it, hanging out with us inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. You know, Cafe Kubal is located on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. Well, you'll also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners, so make sure you head out there to Cafe Kubal today to see them in their drive-thru in North Syracuse, and you'll find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, where I just went out and got myself some chocolate chip banana bread and pumpkin spice chai, which is back. You know I love my chai. You know I only get it at Cafe Kubal. Love all of the flavors that I've tried, and I think I've pretty much run the whole gamut from the cinnamon bun to lavender to vanilla to caramel to maple, and my favorite of all favorites, probably because I was born in October baby, is the pumpkin spice, and it is back at Cafe Kubal. So make sure you get out and get it today. Warm yourself up, cool yourself down, whatever it is, hot or iced, make it Cafe Kubal. And you can obviously, if you're out of town, go to cafekubal.com and order from them online. That's cafe, Kubal.com. And with that being said, we're here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, worldwide, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life, on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all / Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you check us out on any one of these avenues. Tell your family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues, and I can't thank you enough for tuning in here in Central and Upstate New York, as well as up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around this spinning rock that we live on. So thank you for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can also find us on wakeupcalldt.com, our main site that has everything in one place. And of course, you can go to facebook.com / livenowdt as another spot on Facebook where you can watch and listen to the show. So however you're connecting with us this morning, thank you so much for being here where sports meets that thing called life. We have an awesome show set up for you here. You know, on Thursdays, PJ is in the house, and the Go-So, the grand old smooth one, he has so many nicknames, and they're all warranted, and they all should get you excited for what's coming up. He is a wonderful, wonderful piece of what we do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I appreciate him so very much and have nothing but all the respect in the world for PJ, as he has changed my life consistently, him and Miss Mary T. So love them both very much, and my older brother, Mr. Joseph, Meatball number 1. So very proud to have the family that I have, the love that I have, and the support that I have, and on any day, it's a good day when you know you have those people in your corner. So PJ's join us in hour number 1 from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., and we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're running the gamut here this morning. We got to get into my Cuse, his Gators, college football, as well as NFL Week 1 as we make our picks, and the Major League Baseball postseason. From there, we'll go into hour number 2 at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, being joined by Duke Pettijohn, who has been a mainstay on the show over the years. Syracuse Orange defensive end alum, also played professionally, and Duke Pettijohn has joined me on stage in recent history over at the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, with Rob Drummond and Rob Carpenter. So, with all of that being said, the man of the hour, Mr. Papa Joe, we finally get to make our picks again for football, college football, NFL, Major League Baseball. Racing's going on. The man is here, and it's time to bring him in. PJ, how are we doing today?
Good morning, Daniel. Good. Maybe a little bit of weather down here, but we'll get by.
Yeah, and it's definitely been an interesting season. Some weather has been going up and down and around the corner. Syracuse got some true rain. We've had a very dry and nice summer, and got some real rain over the past couple days, but happy to be here, happy to be alive, and rain obviously doesn't look the greatest when it's there, but there's good that comes from it. So I hope the weather gets better on your end, and we have a lot to get into. We talk about seasonal change, and we're in this seasonal change of the fact that college football, some teams are 2 weeks in going on 3, some teams are 1 week in, And overall here, the NFL is starting off tonight, September 8th. I'm going to be on site on location doing something we've never done before in Wake Up Call, and that is that we are going to do a pre-game live broadcast Wake Up Call special engagement show at Pizza Man Pub, 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, as we will be bringing you into the NFL season and into the Buffalo Bills season simultaneously as tonight starts the NFL, Thursday, September 8th, a little bit after 8 p.m., and our live broadcast starts at 7 p.m. with the president of the Beeville Bills backers, and that being Jeff Cook. So Cook and I will be doing a live show on site, on location at Pizza Man with Bills fans as we lead you into the game, and then we're going to watch the game with the Bills fans. So very exciting day coming up here today.
Good. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got it.
I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, and obviously we'd love to have you and Miss Mary T up here very soon. I know you've been in Wisconsin, which is why we didn't have you here for the last couple weeks. So before we get into any of the sports world things, how was your trip up to see your bros and your family in Wisconsin, and what can you say about the trip?
Well, it was a nice visit. It was short. One of our shorter visits actually was only a week. Usually we're up there for, a couple of weeks. But we couldn't swing it this time. I still have mobility issues, but I think I did really well on this flight. I had my little mobile walker with me. I didn't have my power walker, of course, but I really didn't even need it. So I walked very well. I had my big bro, Brewski, who was my best pal up there. He kept an eye on me. He kept me standing straight. And the rest of my bros were okay. They're all working hard. Collectively we're disappointed in the Brewers, but you got to play your best ball at the end of the season, and they're not doing that. And subsequently, they're going to be out of the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, it'll be a miracle.
Yeah, and as we edge closer and closer, when we look at the Major League Baseball side of things, let's hop right into it. We got a lot to cover, a lot of ground here. Speaking on SU, your Gators, as well as college football in general, make our NFL Week 1 picks, and obviously get into baseball. So, with you mentioning the Brewers, let's hop right into the state of Major League Baseball and where things are at right now. As we are here in September, we are edging closer and closer. It's weird for me that, the games go past my birthday now. If you made it to October 21st, it usually meant you were in the World Series and you had forced the World Series to go to the bitter end. It was either the second to last game or the last game if it was on my birthday of October 21st or anywhere around that. Now it goes even deeper, and as we look at the world of Major League Baseball here deep into where we are currently at, teams are in a situation now where the Yankees, as an example, have played 137 games, so we're rolling toward that postseason. In the American League, the Yanks are in first place in the East, the Cleveland Guardians in first place of the Central, but Minnesota is close behind in the Chicago White Sox. The Rays and the Jays are still behind the Yankees here by 5 games back for the Rays, 6.5 for the Jays. The Astros are commanding 11 games ahead in the AL West. In the National League, the Mets are ahead, but only by a half a game of the reigning World Series champion Braves. We got the Cardinals in the Central of the National League up by almost 10 games on the Brewers that you mentioned. And the Dodgers are well ahead of any other team in any division, commanding the NL West by a 19-game lead on the San Diego Padres. And I'm proud to say my Diamondbacks are not the worst team in the NL West. That belongs to the Colorado Rockies. So, your thoughts on where we currently are in baseball as we're almost 140 games in.
Well, in the American League East, Tampa just doesn't go away. They're a pesky little team. The way I like the way they play baseball. They play hit and run, steal, sacrifice flies, things like that. They're just a ball to watch. And they frustrate the Yankees. And it's fun to watch them. So, sometimes you got to get a great outing by Garrett Cole, maybe to salvage a 3-game series. But Tampa Bay and Toronto are just not going to go away together as a team, as a pair. They're both really in line for the wild card. So, the Yankees are playing good. They're not going to give up the lead, I don't believe, unless they completely collapse, which I don't think so. Aaron Boone will let them do that. Cleveland, Minnesota, Washington, and Cleveland, Minnesota, and Chicago in the Central. I don't like any of them. Someone's got to win a division, so it'll be a weak division winner, that's for sure. Houston certainly is much the best in their end. Seattle's 11 games behind, but Seattle's in really good shape to get the wild card. So they're playing good ball, 77-60. So you can't dismiss them. They get good pitching, timely hitting. National League, you mentioned the Mets and the Braves. The Braves are not going away. The Braves are 86-51. They're only a half a game behind the Mets. I love it. Saw the Mets last night. Looked good. Philadelphia's even got a shot for the wild card too. The Central is where it's all laid. It's just this is where the abomination begins. A month ago, the Brewers were up 5 games and cruising. They had Josh Hader. They had everyone hitting. Even Yelich was starting to hit. And all of a sudden, here we are. Abomination begins. And not only have they lost the lead in their division, they're not going to make the playoffs. They're playing so poorly. St. Louis is 9.5 games up. I would have never thought that, Daniel. 6 weeks ago, a month ago, I'd have never thought that. But the Cardinals are playing good ball. I mean, they're 81-56. How can you deny that? The Brewers are just awful. What can I say? And you heard me. I don't know if we had the show before it or not, but they traded Josh Hader to San Diego, which still has a shot to make the playoffs. He went over there and promptly blew his brains out. He couldn't get anyone out, so they put him on the shelf for a while. So I don't know what was going on with Hader. I thought he looked really good, but Pryor actually decided that they could get 3 or 4 prospects for him, so they traded him. And subsequent to that, the Brewers are going down. Well, I'm very disappointed. As a matter of fact, we usually go up to a game up there while we're up there. We didn't even have a short week that we had, but no one was. We were all so depressed we didn't want to do it, so we just sat around and watched them on a TV. In the West, the Dodgers are playing really sensational ball. They got the best pitching. They got timely hitting. They're my favorites for the World Series, along with the Mets. That's going to be a heck of a championship series if it ever gets to that. San Diego's not going away, even though they're 19 games behind. They're still ahead in the wild card standings a little bit. The wild card can get tricky. I don't know how they figure these things out, but in the American League, Tampa Bay and Seattle looks like they got things in hand. But yeah. Baltimore's only 4.5 games behind in that. I don't like Baltimore at all this year, but to give them credit, they've come from the doldrums to come back up and go ahead of Boston in the standings. Tampa Bay is going to make the playoffs, period. I mean, they're just too good of a team not to. The National League, the wild card, Atlanta Braves are going to make it. Who else? I don't know. Looks like Philadelphia can make it. Maybe San Diego can make it. Certainly not the Brewers. The Brewers are 4 games behind on it, and they're not going anyway. I'm really disappointed. I can't say that enough. What can you do? I mean, you just got to play your best ball in the last half of the year in order to make any headway. You start bringing up some rookies. You start bringing up some AA and AAA players to move in and maybe play a few games here and there. When they increase the roster to 40, that's when you get to see some of these players. But the Brewers, they're not doing it. And I've said this before on the show that Yelich, 4 years ago, was the most valuable player. The most valuable player in the National League. And he is a shell of himself. Even though the other night he hit a 499-foot home run in Colorado. The longest ball has ever been hit there. But he's leading off for the Brewers. I mean, when your slugger, when your most valuable player is leading off, there's something wrong there. You need him batting 3rd or 4th to drive in some runs. The Brewers are a mess. I think Craig Thompson does a good job over there. He's done a great job over the years. I don't know if he can survive this latest downturn. So we'll see where it goes. But there's still a lot of baseball to be played, and the wild card team, the race is going to be heating up pretty soon. So gotta watch it. It's fun to watch. There's so many things going on now in the fall that my brain can't wrap everything around it all.
Yeah, you have that kind of overload, right? You have that brain overload, and you have to get yourself kind of prepared, wrap your head around it and whatnot, because there's so much going on. But, you brought up a bunch of things, and I want to shout out William Pagan here, the father of one of the offensive linemen and my running mate when I run for president someday, Mr. Enrique A. Cruz Jr., And so Will's on the show today, and he's watching here, watching what you had to say, and he agreed with you that the NL Central is hot garbage, and he said that includes his Cubs. Cubs are obviously more than 20 games back right now, so they're having a tough go at it. And Chicago overall, Chicago White Sox, he made mention of that too, that the White Sox, both Chicago franchises, struggling. If the wild card happened today, remember there's a bunch of teams that are in now, folks, with the wild card. They added a team, so now we have this, we have the 3 divisional leaders, and then we have the 3 teams that get in for the wild card. So taking a look at it now, if the wild card happened today in the American League, the Rays, the Mariners, and the Blue Jays are in. So the Rays and the Blue Jays, like we said, weeks and weeks ago, Rays and Blue Jays are still in the wild card hunt. As good as the Yankees have been, even when they've struggled, the Yankees still having the top of the division there in the AL East, and right behind them, the Rays and the Jays, weeks ago, months ago, were in the hunt for the wild card. They're still in that hunt, so they've been consistent. And then in the National League, same thing can be said about the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies, who weeks ago, if the wild card had happened, the Braves and the Phillies would have been in. The Braves and the Phillies are still in. The San Diego Padres have shot up, a team that's gotten a lot of talent, spent a lot of money, had good talent in, brought other pieces in, before the trade deadline and whatnot. The Padres are doing well. The Brewers are still in the hunt, though. They're 4 games out in the National League. The Giants are still in the hunt. And I'm going to say it until I can't say it anymore. There has been 130-plus games played, and my Diamondbacks with 30-plus games to go are still technically in the hunt for the wild card. They are 10 games back, and I'm not anticipating them squeaking in a high percentage. I just want to let people know they're not eliminated. The only 2 teams that have been eliminated from the postseason are the Oakland A's in the AL, and in the NL, the Washington Nationals. The sad thing about these teams is there's over 30 games to be played, and there's no way for them to get in. There's only 2 teams out of 30 Major League Baseball franchises that are eliminated from the playoffs, and those are your Oakland A's and your Washington Nationals. And PJ, my Diamondbacks, until they're not, I'm going to say they are still alive. But if the postseason happened today, it's the same thing that I said weeks ago. The American League would have 3 out of 5 teams representing, and the National League the American League East and the National League East. Weeks ago, the East Division of both leagues would have 3 representatives in the postseason for Major League Baseball, and that stands true today. Consistency is key, and the East divisions of both the National League and the American League have been the most successful. And as it stands right now, as it stood many weeks ago, they will have 3 out of 5 teams in their division in the playoffs if they continue to go at the rate that they're going.
It's going to be fun to watch. Daniel, listen to me. Your Diamondbacks got no shot.
I know, but they're
dead about it.
I know, but they're mathematically not excluded yet. That's all I know.
Okay, all right. Listen, there is some light at the end of the tunnel for some of these teams, and. For instance, the Yankees have had an 83-54 record, which is exceptional. However, when they're away, they're only 35-34. They blow everyone out when they're at home. So if you can get the Yankees on the road, maybe win a couple of games, you may be able to squeak a series from them. So they're not unbeatable. They're not in the best shape that they should be. But just look at the Mets the same way. The Mets are 46-23 at home, but they're 41-28 away. They play good ball away. Atlanta 47-25 at home, 39-26 away. Good teams play good baseball everywhere. So the Yankees have a little chink in their armor. I don't expect them to stop playing the way they're playing. I mean, Aaron Judge is the best baseball player, I guess, since Yelich had that season 4 years ago. I mean, Aaron Judge to me, is hands down most valuable player in the American League. And the National League, I got Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado from the St. Louis Cardinals are in the hunt. But, Goldschmidt's got it wrapped up, too. Matter of fact, Goldschmidt is playing so well, he's got a chance of having the Triple Crown in the National League, which is the best batting average, the most home runs, and the most RBIs. He could possibly do it. And if he does, even if he doesn't, he's still the MVP in my estimation.
Yeah, and this is the part of it where we get down to the nitty gritty and we get to have some fun with this. And, we've had fun with it all the way through, but getting to see how these teams finish up and what happens, and if the East divisions will really continue to stay the strongest in all of Major League Baseball. And I do want to make note of something. You just mentioned Paul Goldschmidt and said all these great things about him. He was an Arizona Diamondback. So,
I'm glad he was.
So,
I'm glad he left him too.
So two things I get to positively say. For those of you that love Paul Goldschmidt, he started his Major League Baseball career in 2011 with my Arizona Diamondbacks, and mathematically they're not out of the wild card yet. So, that's what I'm going to say about my babies. But with that being said, PJ and I are going to take a step aside. We're going to go from field to field. We're going from baseball field to football field. We have his Gators, my Cuse, college football picks, as well as our NFL Week 1 picks. All of that is coming up on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You're here in hour number 1 with Papa Joe, hanging out with you with PJ, the grand old smooth one. We will be back after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with a plethora of topics and opportunities for you to get your college football and NFL on. The gridiron is up next on Wake Up Call right after this fast break.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Syracuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios where sports truly meets that thing called life. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. And you know that Cafe Kubal is located for you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, inside of their double-decker cafe on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners at their drive-through location in North Syracuse. Make sure you head off there today. Pumpkin Spice is back, and you can get all of your favorites as well as try it for the first time ever by heading off to any one of those locations and letting them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way. You are here with us worldwide on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT. You're also with us on WakeUpCallDT.com and on Facebook.com / Live Now DT. So we thank you so much for tuning in to the broadcast. We're here on a Thursday in hour number 1, which means it's PJ time, and that doesn't mean it's time to put on your pajamas, although you can watch the show in your pajamas if you so feel the need to. That's totally fine if you're relaxing at home and having a great day. Papa Joe hanging out with us, and it's time to go from field to field, baseball to football, as the NFL will jump off their season tonight, believe it or not. And college football is already a couple weeks in for some teams, and for most teams 1 week in, heading into week 2. So, Papa Joe, let's start it off with your Gators. Your Gators are orange and blue. My Cuse are orange and blue. So we got the same colors, different states, different teams, different conferences. But when we put those shirts on, if you see us from the back, you might think I'm a Gator, and you might think PJ's a Cuse guy. So, what are your thoughts on your Florida Gators so far?
Well, the first game was just phenomenal. I mean, I was screaming my head off, and I was so tired. I was nodding off to sleep. Mary said, "You got to go to bed." So I lay down in bed. I had the game on my phone, and I'm trying to nod off to sleep, and the game is being played. There's 2 minutes in the game, 1 minute in the game, and what a stop at the end of the game by a 6-year player, the old man of the team, Bernie, who intercepted the ball in the end zone. I'll tell you, Utah's got a hell of a team. They're going to beat a lot of teams this year, and I don't understand their ranking, though. That I think they dropped them to 13, which I guess is okay. But then you got Florida State at 2-0, beating LSU at home, and they're not even in the top 25. So,
yeah.
You got to figure that stuff out. But Florida was really good. Anthony Richardson, folks, you're going to have to watch this kid. He has got all the talent in the world, and he's been a Gator for 4 years. He's been 2 years behind Emory Jones, who really never blossomed in the kind of player that they wanted. But Anthony could never crack the starting lineup. But it's all his team now. But this guy has everything. He's got all the intangibles. He runs, he passes, he blocks, he does it all. I mean, he's 6'4", 230 pounds, and he took off on a 40-yard quarterback sneak. It was so fast that I couldn't believe I was watching it. It was so fast. He went right by a linebacker, and the linebacker didn't know what the hell was going on. And he juked a little guy down, a little defensive back down at the 5-yard line, stepped over and went in the end zone. So he's the real deal to watch. Someone's going to have to play real defense against this kid. And I'm happy for that. Florida looks like they're on the way. I love our new coach, of course. And they've got a good recruiting team coming up here. I think they're number 10 so far this year in the nation with 2023 recruiting. They got an extremely difficult schedule. And, I heard me preach and I go, Papa J is going to say it again, the SEC. Well, folks, that's what it is. I mean, they may lose 2 or 3 games this year and still be better than 80% of the rest of the nation. So these teams play each other, they knock each other up, and it's not inconceivable that a two-team loss can make the playoffs. But that's not here or there. I'm happy that where they are, they looked extremely good playing. The defense played well, even though the kid Rising did a good job for Utah. And Utah's a good team. They're going to beat a lot of people. So I'm very happy with that win. And get it on another state. I was going to bring this up later, but I might as well bring it up now because Florida State looked absolutely great. They looked wonderful. You've heard me on the show now for 3 years saying that the third year of Mike Norvell is going to be the one that's going to tell.
Yeah.
And the first 2 years he had a tough time, of course. Now he's getting his own guys in there. He's putting his own system in better for him. He's a class guy. He's a class act. Good coach. And they went on the road and beat LSU. Oh, my goodness. What a game. What a game. And Brian Kelly is sitting there just like he did up at Notre Dame. He hasn't a clue what's going on. He gets his ass beat down in the Bayou against the Florida State team that wasn't even ranked for the last 50 years, for crying out loud. And Florida State's not even in the top 25. I don't figure that out. But those are the pundits that do all that kind of stuff. All I do is watch and comment.
Yeah, I mean, in Florida State, and credit to them, and I've told people over and over and over and over again about Mike Norvell, because Mike Norvell and I have had a working relationship his entire time that he was at Memphis. I had him for 4 years there. I've had him the whole time he's been at Florida State, and I've told Florida State fans, he recruits well, he sends guys to the NFL. This is a guy, if you look at the NFL right now and you look at Memphis, they have a ton of guys that are in, and just running back alone, they don't have a running back here and a running back there. They have a running back here, there, and everywhere. I think 5 or 6 guys are in the NFL currently, actively, at running back that went to play for the Memphis Tigers. And not only are they in the NFL, a bunch of them are starters, and if they're not the starter, they're one of 2 that's being utilized. I mean, he is a good recruiter. He's getting guys to the NFL. I love being around him, and I've told Florida State fans, you need to leave this man alone, let him do his job, and understand that he's going to get you there, he's going to get you better. He just defeated LSU in Brian Kelly's first game since becoming the LSU head coach, leaving Notre Dame, which I can anticipate that there's probably already message boards out there asking for the firing of Brian Kelly, because we know in the SEC, if you lose one game, you should be fired. I mean, that's not my mentality. That's the mentality of the SEC. So, but, PJ, I do have to make this note, because you know how I feel about this. The rankers have a hard-on for the Big Ten. They love the Big Ten. It's all about the Big Ten. We always got to get the Big Ten in the college football playoff. That's what I always see. And in the AP, Michigan is 4th in the nation, after blowing out Colorado State, who's unranked. They went up 4 spots, beating an unranked team in the AP. They went up 1 spot to 5th in the coaches poll. Michigan State beat my Western Michigan team with Mr. Tim Lester, good friend of mine. Michigan State wins. They go up 1 spot to 14 in the AP poll. And in the coaches poll, Michigan State goes up 3 spots. So once again, like we've seen in recent time, Michigan and Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, these teams, during COVID, these teams were in the rankings 6 weeks into the season when they hadn't played a game. They come in and they're automatically putting when the Big Ten said, hey, we're going to play football, after they said, no, we're not going to play, we care about the health and safety, then they saw everybody making money and they said, screw health and safety. When we saw them go in, and not that they don't care about health and safety, I'm just saying that it was BS that they said we're not going to play, and then they jumped right in. 6 games into the season, we see Michigan ranked, Ohio State ranked. Michigan went up 4 spots in 2020 when they hadn't played a game. They went up 4 spots in the rankings at 0-0. And now I'm seeing it again. And I got to call it out. I got to call a spade a spade. Michigan and Michigan State played 1 game this season. Both beat an unranked team. Last year, these 2 teams started off their first 6 weeks, played no ranked teams, and they were both in the top 10, and then they played each other, and whoever won, they stayed in the top 10 because they were considered top 10 teams after playing nobody. And here we are again with Michigan and Michigan State getting highly touted, highly respected, and highly ranked for playing 1 game against an unranked opponent, beating them as they should, and rising up the polls. The Big Ten connection to the polls doesn't make any sense to me.
I know it is detestable to even think about how they carry over on these guys. They shouldn't. Ohio State looked good, beating Notre Dame, but they got to play a lot better. Look, if the nation watches these football games and it watches the different conferences, you're going to hear me say this all week long, probably all year long. You watch Georgia and Oregon play. Oh, look at Oregon. Oregon is a good football team. They've been good the last 5 years with Cristobal up there. Now they got a new coach. Most of the players are still there. Georgia absolutely demolished a good football team in Oregon. Now, what am I going to say here now? What's the best thing that the SEC has over the rest of the nation? That is speed. Georgia was so fast on both sides of the ball that Oregon players just couldn't react. And finally, Kirby Smart said at the end of one of his interviews, he said, listen, he said, we just had better players. And that's the key. They had better players against a very good Oregon team. Alabama, look at Georgia. Alabama may not be the best team in the nation right now. They certainly played well in their first game. I mean, Bryce Young was all over the place, scoring touchdowns here and there. I mean, he's a legitimate candidate again for the Heisman Trophy. But Kirby Smart's Georgia team, now, they were the dominant team in college football the first week. Now, my Gators, I tell you right now, will not beat Georgia. The way things stand right now, they will not beat Georgia. And Florida's going to have a very good year this year. But those two guys at the top, Alabama and Georgia, they just drape over the rest of the nation when it comes to football. They have speed at every position. They have the best players, 4 and 5 stars, whatever you want to call it. They're awesome. And, you can say, PJ, you're full of it again, but, just look at the games and watch and see how things evolve during the year. You're going to see these two teams stay on top, and they're going to wind up playing each other, and you wouldn't be surprised if both of them wind up in the playoff again together. So, that's my rant for the morning. You had the Big Ten. My rant's the SEC on Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... It's reality. And again, show me how many times the Big Ten's won the college football playoff. Show me, besides Ohio State, show me any relevancy of the Big Ten in the college football playoff. Michigan got spanked back home. They got humbled by the college football playoff. And, remember, there was the notion that the Jacksonville Jaguars, with the number 1 overall pick, drafted Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson because of the fact that when Georgia played Michigan in the college football playoff, Trayvon showed up and Aiden was totally absent. That people say, well, Aiden had a great, career at Michigan, but it was when he was playing Big Ten teams. And once he started playing the SEC, he disappeared. So, let's call reality what reality is. The Big Ten is where they are because the powers that be that vote in the polls put them there. It's not, I'm all about earning your keep, earning that, right? People say respect me, and I say respect is earned. People say, well, you have to trust my word. Well, prove to me that you're trustworthy. I believe everybody starts at 0, and it's what you do with it, right? I have no reason to not trust someone or not respect somebody unless you give me one. But as you go through life and you build that respect and you build that trust, then you get to keep that because you've shown that you've earned it. Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, on and on and on in the Big Ten, Wisconsin. Nobody has shown me in recent history that you've earned the right or that we should trust you with a top spot. Yet, I know every year of the college football playoff, Ohio State has a shot. And if somebody else goes undefeated or beats Ohio State, like I literally told you 3 weeks before it happened, I said, Ohio State's in the college football playoff right now because the college football playoff committee has to put a Big Ten team in for whatever reason. And I said, there's 3 weeks left. Michigan State and Michigan both play Ohio State. Mark my words, if Ohio State loses to Michigan or Michigan State and either one of those teams that beats Ohio State goes undefeated, so if Michigan or Michigan State beats Ohio State, wins their other 2 games, and ends the season 3-0, they'll take the place of Ohio State and they'll be put into the college football playoff. Michigan beat Ohio State, won their last 3 games, and went into the college football playoff. I called it weeks before it happened because I saw it. I said, whoever beats Ohio State and stays undefeated is taking their spot. If nobody does, then it's Ohio State because no other school is going to take out that Big Ten spot that's already been saved for them. The college football playoff expanding is a necessity, but the college football playoff being fair as it expands is a necessity because I can tell you right now, starting the season, PJ, if I close my eyes and I pin the tail on the donkey, I can tell you before the season even starts. Alabama, another SEC team, probably Ohio State or whatever Big Ten team beats them, and then Clemson, that's your college football playoff. Not that Alabama doesn't deserve it, not that the SEC doesn't deserve it, not that Clemson in most years doesn't deserve it, But I'm telling you right now, I can tell you who's going to be in the college football playoff before we even play it down. And that's because of the fact that those spots have already been saved. Those seats have already been saved. The College Football Playoff Committee might as well just put a table in the cafeteria and have the spots reserved with the names on them because we already know who it's going to be.
That's true. I mean, they are a little bit prejudiced, but you know, if you look at the top 25, you look at the way the teams played this last week, you'll notice that seven, S-E-V-E-N, 7 SEC teams are in the top 25. Now, of course, they play each other and they knock each other out. So, but at the beginning of the year, they're that good. And Florida has a very good chance of losing to teams that they don't lose to, like Tennessee and Kentucky. Both of those teams are excellent this year. Kentucky playing Florida this week is another big game for them. For an SEC team to be 3-2 or 4-2 and still be a real good team is possible because they play each other. The Big Ten, unfortunately, doesn't have that. Ohio State's done a good job keeping their head above the water and won college football championship series for them. But the rest of the time, it's always been an SEC team. So, let's hope that the Big Ten is a little bit more competitive this year. Let's hope that they recruit a lot more speed. And let's hope that these coaches look at some of the other programs and say, well, they do this really well. Why can't I do it? So you try to do a little bit more competitive this year. Let's hope that they recruit a lot more speed.
Yeah, and to be completely honest,
some of the
like
other
I've said
programs
before,
and say, well,
the SEC
they
has
do this
every
really well.
right.
Why can't I do it?
Every
So
right
you try
to command all 4 spots of the college
they
football
recruit a lot more speed
because of what they do. And to be completely honest, like I've said before, the SEC has every right.
Why can't I do it?
Gobbled up to command all 4 spots of the college football because of what they do. And to be completely honest, like I've said before, the SEC has every right. Ohio State would become Rutgers essentially. So command all 4 spots of the college football. Let's call it some space because of what they do. And to be completely honest, the SEC has every right. Ohio State would become Rutgers. Listen, I respect you all. And in your conference, you beat up on each other. But outside of your stop acting like so take a look at current games that come up. We got a couple Friday night games. We got a bunch of games on Saturday. We're going to make we think we circle our college football picks of PJ and I are going to make a bunch of these picks now. So PJ, your team and my team are playing at nighttime. I say my team in the comfort of my own home, which is on a college broadcaster. I don't have Syracuse going 12-0 this season. I've been real about it. So both of our teams are playing at 7 o'clock on Saturday, September 10th. 2 night games kicking off at the same time, 7 p.m. at Syracuse going 12-0. PJ's Gators, my Q's, both going off at 7 o'clock. ESPN for Kentucky and Florida, 2 top 20 ranked teams. Kentucky's 20, Florida is 12. And then 2 unranked teams. Syracuse will take on UConn, an old rival, is now an independent team because UConn decided to go back to Big East for basketball and leave their football team out to pasture. They've all but shot their team out on the ranch, is how I look at it. But UConn's got Jim Mora Jr. They're trying to get it going. They're 1-1. They're one of the teams that's played 2 games already this season. So let's make our picks. Kentucky and Florida on ESPN on the ranch, and Syracuse and UConn on CBS Sports Network, which is literally the most difficult thing, even on the internet, to get to air. So Syracuse fans, go to the Wildcat Sports Pub, go to ESPN on the ranch, and Syracuse, you can watch the game because to get CBS Sports Network on your phone, on any device, is dang near impossible. And I tried to do the last time Syracuse played UConn on the ranch. I was at PJ's kitchen table, and after an hour of trying to get on, I finally got logged in, and they said it was blacked out in my area, and I was like, I'm on the internet, and there is no internet. So good luck trying to find the game, folks. I'm going to tell you to go to the Wildcat and Pizza Man to watch it because you got to rig it up right to get this thing to go. But let's give our picks. Kentucky and Florida. For the 3 of us that'll get the stream to work on CBS Sports Network. You got to rig it up right to get this thing to go. But let's give our picks. Kentucky and Florida. For the 3 of us that'll get the stream to work on CBS Sports Network. You got to rig it up right to get this thing to go.
Now, my Kentucky and Florida game,
for the 3 of us,
I would say this would be a 60
definitely have it out here for you, and always happy to do that. Our picks that we're making here, so our college football picks, PJ picked with Syracuse at UConn as we both make our picks for that, and we're doing that currently right now. PJ and I are picking Syracuse, as you just heard Papa Joe say, and then with Kentucky at Florida, 2 top 20 ranked teams inside of the SEC. PJ and I are also both picking Florida in this one, so we both have the Go Gators and we both have the Syracuse Orange in this, and we apologize to those on YouTube that just had an issue with the audio. It should all be corrected, so our apologies on that, as the audio had a little mix up there for a couple seconds, but you should hear us clear right now. The other picks that we're going to be making here on this are going to be, and Greg, I know you want to hear something about the MVP race. We will come back to that. We'll circle back to that, but PJ and I are got to make our picks in this moment, so I did hear you, and we will get to that. A couple more picks here, Papa Joe, as we take a look at the top 25 teams that are out there right now. And as we take a look at what's going on overall, Alabama is going to be on the road at Texas, and that's at noon Eastern time on Fox. Alabama, obviously the number 1 ranked team in the country right now. So what are your thoughts on Alabama at Texas?
This could be a trip-up game here for Alabama if they don't pay attention. Texas is coming a long way. They've got a good program down, certainly a great program over the years. But Alabama just a little too tough. I think that Alabama's speed to the ball is probably going to make the difference. Bryce Young can't do anything wrong. He can pass and run for anything. And I think he gets a little bored out there sometimes. He's so good. But he's got the players around him, and they got the defense to play. So, I think Alabama wins this game.
Yeah, I got Alabama winning this one. It's on the road. It's Texas, and, Texas has nothing to lose, everything to gain in a game like this, in a non-conference game. But I do think that this will go to Alabama. I like this game. 2 top 25 ranked teams, not in the top 25, despite having over 100 votes. I think it's over 140 votes that Tennessee had. But Tennessee is ranked in the AP poll at number 24, and going off of those AP numbers, they're number 24, and Pittsburgh is number 17. Pittsburgh just defeated West Virginia, an old-time rival, in the Backyard Bowl. And so we have Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Mind you, when Pitt went on the road last season to Tennessee, as they have this home-and-home non-conference play against each other, Pitt went to Tennessee last year, and en route to their first-ever ACC championship, as well as going to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and having the opportunity to be on-site on location for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl there, and what an amazing experience. Going to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and New Year's Six Bowl after winning an ACC championship, that came after they defeated Tennessee last year in Tennessee. Now Tennessee goes to Pittsburgh. What do you think, PJ? Can Pitt do it again?
I'm glad you brought that up, because Tennessee did lose at home, and they don't frequently lose at home. I don't think Pittsburgh is as good a team as they were last year. I think they're ranked a little bit higher. I do have to say Tennessee's going to go in and spoil them on this one, though.
So PJ's got Tennessee in this one. I'm riding with Doozer. I'm riding with Pat Narduzzi. I'm going with Pitt in this, and so this is one of the ones that PJ and I will differ on. And we're going to make one more pick here for college football in week 2 for most people, week 3 for some of these teams like UConn. So I'm going to pick another one to throw at you here, PJ. And that game is going to be, there's a lot of games that are interesting, definitely interesting here, but I'm going to pick this one here, 2 top 25 ranked teams. We have Baylor at BYU. Now, eventually, they will be in the same conference, believe it or not. They will be Big 12 opponents in the not-too-distant future, but as of right now, Baylor's in the Big 12 and BYU is still an independent football team. Baylor ranked number 9 in the AP, at BYU 21. BYU is at home for this. What do you have?
I like BYU in this game. Baylor, again, is another team that's come a long way. Good coaching staff. They recruit very well in Texas. But BYU, I think, has got the offense I like to watch. They like to throw the ball, so I'm looking for...
Oh, and we lost PJ here for a second, so we're going to look to we're going to look to get him back on here. But he was picking BYU, and I am also going to be picking BYU. So we got PJ back here on the line, and we both went BYU in this one. So we're both going to go with BYU, and for some reason we're having a little bit of a connection problem with PJ here. So we're going to try and, yep, we got you. Can you hear us okay?
Didn't we?
Yeah. Lost you for a second, but PJ and I are going with BYU, which will lead us.
Daniel?
Yep. Can you hear us? Yep.
You there?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay. So we got PJ here now. So we both picked BYU. So we picked 4 games in college football. The only one we differed on was Tennessee at Pittsburgh. PJ went with the road team Tennessee, and I went with home Pittsburgh to defeat Tennessee in back-to-back years in this SEC-ACC matchup. We're going to run the gamut here quick before we get back to baseball for a second, PJ. And we're going to do week 1 of the NFL. We're going to run it down the list. And so we're going to make our picks here. And we're going to start with tonight's game. I'm going to be with the Bills fans on site on location at Pizza Man Pub. I hope to see you there. We're going to be on 50 Oswego Street doing the first ever that I've ever done in the history of this. We're going to usher in the entire NFL season as well as the entire Buffalo Bills season specifically from Pizza Man Pub, which is a very Bills friendly. They love everybody there, but the Beeville Bills backers call that home. Ton of Bills fans, going to be very excited. Great environment. Everybody come out. I expect every upstate New York Bills fan in the area to be at Pizza Man tonight. We'll be on air at 7 o'clock. The Beeville Bills backers president, Jeff Cook, and myself will be on site on location doing our pregame for the NFL and the Bills, and then we're going to watch the game with you right after. So we're on site on location live at 7 o'clock on Facebook.com and YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and immediately following our live broadcast special engagement, a wake-up call, we're going to be hanging out with the Bills fans. So come see us for the pregame show. There's nobody else going to give you that, Bills fans, here in upstate New York. So let's pregame together, let's watch the game together, and let's circle them wagons. So, PJ, I'll bring it to you. I think the first game of the season might be the last game of the season. This might be a precursor to the upcoming Super Bowl. The Bills at the Rams. Who do you have?
Wow, what a game to watch. Well, you know, we're looking at a real hero in Josh Allen, though, for Buffalo. He's got a hell of an arm. He's got the weapons around him. I loved Los Angeles last year too. This is a hard game for me to pick. I mean, I you know what? I'm just going to stay with the home team. That's the way I look at it. These teams are so equally matched that I think that I'm just going to go with the home team.
Well, PJ is going with the Rams in this one, reigning Super Bowl champion Rams, and I know Matty Stafford was nursing something coming into this. Hopefully he's okay and everything is going well for him. And you know, as we take a look at this game, very excited to see this. And like I said, I have said this for many weeks now, for over a month now, that we could very well be seeing this game at the end of the season. So definitely looking forward to this. And Matt Stafford, he had an off-season procedure, which is why some people are nervous about the elbow and whatnot. Bills at the Rams. PJ goes Rams, and I am picking those Bills, and I will be on site on location, like I said, pre-gaming with you at Pizza Man tonight. So if you want to watch that Bills-Rams game and you're going to do it out somewhere, do it at Pizza Man. Show up an hour before. See our live broadcast with Beeville Bills backers president Jeff Cook. We'll be previewing the game, the entire NFL season, and we will officially kick you off into the NFL 2022-23 from Pizza Man. Don't miss out on the event. This Sunday, PJ, we're going to see a ton of games going on before one game on Monday night. So I'm just going to run down here. We're going to give our picks. New Orleans at Atlanta. What do you got?
New Orleans.
So PJ going New Orleans on this one. You know, Atlanta, they've made some good offensive changes. They've done some good things. I don't like the quarterback situation with the Saints at all by any stretch of the imagination.
My man Jameis.
Your man Jameis, famous Jameis. So PJ's going with Jameis, and PJ's going with Jameis, and I'm actually going to pick the Saints in this one too. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for the Falcons to get set, but that quarterback situation is just wily in New Orleans. San Francisco at Chicago.
This is a terrible game, I think. I think San Francisco wins it with a new quarterback, although I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Garoppolo starts playing for him again. So I like San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco at Chicago here. I got to go with San Francisco in this one, too. I just feel that there's a better situation in San Fran than there is in Chicago. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Mitch Trubisky has gotten the nod over Kenny Pickett, the rookie, as of right now.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that situation up in Pittsburgh, but I like Mike Tomlin. He's the best there is. And if he thinks Mitch Trubisky can beat a quarterback, it's good enough for me. I like Pittsburgh.
Looking at this one, Steelers at the Bengals to start off the season. Listen, I think the Steelers have a lot of talent, but Cincinnati is at home, so I have to go in this one with Cincinnati. I gotta pick my guy Joe Burrow. I gotta go with Cincy on this one. So PJ and I differing on that, as we got a divisional game right out of the gate. Philadelphia at Detroit. This is interesting because there's some picks here that could have gone one way and went the other way. What do you have, Philadelphia at Detroit?
I like Philly in this game.
Yeah, I think Detroit's getting better, but Jared Goff is still your quarterback, and I think that that's a placeholder for the fact that they want to draft somebody in a meaty class for 2023 for quarterbacks, and they want to get a rookie here. So I'm going to go with Philadelphia as well. I don't see how the city of brotherly hate comes out of this one with a loss. So next one up, New England at Miami.
Well, I think the old lobster bowl Kaplan is going to start the season off well. I think he's got a good quarterback. He's got the team. I think he wins this one.
Yeah, the Patriots here, like I said, I don't care who's on the squad as long as Bill Belichick is the coach. They are relevant. I think the Dolphins got a lot of talent. They got speed in Jalen Waddle. They got speed in Tyreek Hill. And, this is a game that you usually see later on in the season, right? They got to play each other twice, but typically I'm used to seeing this one a little bit later on. This is going to be a tough game, PJ, but you know what? I'm going to pick the Miami Dolphins at home to win this game here. I'm going to pick the Dolphins' speed. It's going to be a little bit too much for a New England team that I think is maybe potentially going to struggle in scoring the ball. And now that I've said that, they'll score 40. Baltimore at the New York Jets. What do you have for this?
Baltimore.
Yeah, this is a plain and simple. It's some people we call it streamlining defenses when you're playing fantasy football, where you don't have a defense that you keep on your team. You just try to pick up the defense every week that plays the Jets. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens as well. Feeling good about Baltimore. And I've been defending Lamar Jackson since he was in college. So all you bandwagon jumpers, if you jump on this bandwagon, I know that you weren't here before because I was in a very quiet crowd of people saying Lamar Jackson can play quarterback in the NFL. Next one up, Jacksonville at the Washington, for the first time ever, called the Commanders. Jacksonville starts off the season on the road before coming home next week. What do you got?
Well, of course we got to pick Jacksonville. I mean, I think that they're loaded now. They got the right team. They got the right coach. I want to see them, succeed, and I think they'll start off with an easy victory over Washington. The Washington Redskins, Daniel.
So, yeah, I mean, the Redskins changed their name. The Cleveland Indians changed their name. I'm going with the Jaguars in this one, too. I like Ron Rivera as a coach. I think Washington has talent. They've been through a lot in the offseason, and they start a season once again with 3 or 4 quarterbacks, not really knowing who the guy's going to be. So I'm going to pick the Jaguars on the road. I think Travis Etienne and James Robinson need to be used together. I think they're lethal in reality and fantasy. If they are, I think it would be crazy for a coach not to see it. I'm hoping big things from Doug Peterson, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a very nice sophomore season. Watch those numbers, baby. Cleveland at Carolina. Boy, do I love this game because this is the game where Baker Mayfield, in the first game since not being a Brown, Baker Mayfield gets to welcome his old team that disrespected the poop out of him. He gets to play them in week 1 as the Carolina starting quarterback. He's QB1. Wow, the Browns must have really hated Baker Mayfield to not only bring in Deshaun Watson, not knowing if he was going to be suspended, but keep Deshaun Watson through this ridiculousness. Think they're going to lose him for 6 games. They lose him for 11 games. But how about this, PJ? Knowing that you brought in a quarterback that probably potentially was not going to be able to play for a few weeks, they still didn't want Baker even just to fill in before Deshaun Watson now gets to play. Now you don't have Deshaun for 11 weeks, and you don't have Baker. And Baker is going to eat you alive this week, I think. What do you think?
Oh, that's potentially correct. I have no idea why Cleveland did what they did. In two ways. I don't understand why they let him go. And number two, why they wanted to bring Deshaun Watson in after all his criminal problems. Sometimes these guys that make these decisions that make multi-million-dollars a year don't think very well. For some reason, the elevator doesn't go all the way to the top floor. This is a situation where the elevator's still in the basement. Carolina wins.
I love that. I'm going to use that, PJ, because I met a lot of people whose elevator I think it's stuck on the lobby, to be completely honest. So with that being said, love that analogy. Elevator doesn't go to the top floor. Yes on yes on yes. I'm going Carolina. Indianapolis at Houston, a game inside the AFC South, a divisional game. Matt Ryan is the new quarterback of the Colts, and Davis Mills is now officially the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans. What do you think? And Damian Pierce from the Florida Gators is their starting running back. What do you think for Houston having the Colts?
I've always liked Matt Ryan. I think he makes a big difference in this game and for the franchise. I like Indy.
Yeah, I got Indy in this one. I think that Michael Pittman Jr. is going to have a good year thanks to Matty Ryan, and I think, Matty Ice being there, dare I say it, could help out Jonathan Taylor even more, who had a phenomenal season, 18 rushing touchdowns last year. So I'm going to have to go with an offense that's opening up here is only better for Jonathan Taylor, and God willing, all goes well for them in that respect. And like I say, I hope the best for the Colts, except for 2 weeks of the season when they play the Jaguars. Outside of that, I'm going Colts. New York Giants for this week. New York Giants at the Tennessee Titans. What do you think for this one?
I like the Tennessee in this game, strictly because they're home.
Yeah, I'm really excited. My guy DeAndre Smith, the running backs coach for the New York Giants. If anybody's going to make Saquon come alive here, then that's going to be my guy. He took non-household names, turned them into household names. Saquon is a household name, and so if anybody's going to take one that already is and help to pick that up a little bit, it's going to be my guy DeAndre. So DeAndre, please forgive me, though. I got to go with Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans at home. Green Bay at Minnesota, PJ. What do you got?
Aaron Rodgers lost his best receiver, and again, that's another deal I don't understand. How these people can make these decisions, but Aaron Rodgers is still going to win a game.
Aaron Rodgers lost his best receiver, and apparently he's lost his mind. He thinks he's a diva now. He loves calling out the receivers that he does have, and because of the tumultuous time that he's decided to start the season off with, I'm going to go with hometown Minnesota here, and I'm going to pick Lake Minnetonka here. I'm going with Minnesota, and maybe it's because I just saw the Prince Experience at the New York State Fair, and he hails from Minneapolis. But whatever it may be, I'm going with Minnesota. I think their receivers are more talented than Green Bay's receivers, and Kirk Cousins is better than a median quarterback in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is a phenomenal quarterback, but he is a drama queen, and he has almost completely lost his mind. I don't think he will ever win a Super Bowl in Green Bay because of what he did to the Green Bay Packers and how much money he took from them. Losing Devontae Adams, they're going to feel it in this one. I got Minnesota at home. Kansas City at Arizona, a non-Tyreek Hill Kansas City and a non-DeAndre Hopkins Arizona because DeAndre's been suspended for 6 games. What do you have?
Kansas City and a romp.
Kansas City in this one, I think Arizona's got some talent, but, I think people want to maybe sleep on the Chiefs a little bit this year because they don't have Tyreek Hill. I'm going to pick Kansas City. I don't think they're going to be – maybe they're going to take some time to get explosive, but don't forget, they don't have Tyreek Hill, but they do have my guy Sky Moore from Western Michigan. I'm going to pick Kansas City on the road over Arizona. The Las Vegas Raiders up against the Los Angeles Chargers. How about this, PJ, for some really cool full circle? The last game of the regular season last year that went down to the wire and went to overtime with both teams potentially having the opportunity to make the playoffs was the Raiders and the Chargers. And they will play each other in the first week of the season this year. So the teams that ended the regular season for the entire NFL last year are going to be playing each other in the first week of the new season. What do you have for Raiders at Chargers in this really cool storybook kind of book-ending moment?
Well, David Carr and Devontae Adams played together 10 years ago. And they're back together as being teammates, and I think that there's a symbiotic relationship there that's not going to go away. I like Oakland.
The Raiders. The Raiders. The Raiders beat the Chargers last year without Davante Adams. I think this year Vegas does it with Davante Adams. Although I don't know if anybody throws a better ball than Justin Herbert. I'm going to say it until you know it. And this game started off the season. They started the season off last year against each other, and we typically don't get to see this happen twice, right? Lightning striking twice. This game ended with what looked to be offensive pass interference that was never called. Why? Because it's Tom Brady's team. Tampa Bay at Dallas. They played each other last year. I watched this game with good friend and partner from Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Jim Bell, who's a big-time Cowboy fan, and everybody knows it's my second team in the comfort of my own home. Tampa Bay and Dallas went down to the wire and was a fantastic game last year. Cowboys almost got the Bucs. Now they're at home. Will they get the Bucs this time?
I think they will. I think there's some problems with Brady in Tampa. I don't know why he took so much time off. Maybe he's having marital problems, but that shouldn't be it shouldn't make any difference to a pro like him. He should have been in camp working with his guys. I don't like Dallas, never have, but I got to pick him in this game.
Dallas almost had him last year, and the officials, the third team on the field, helped out Tampa. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys this time around to finish their unfinished business from last year in Sunday Night Football. And Monday Night Football, how about this? My good friend and first-time NFL head coach, but longtime coach, Nate Hackett, gets to be a head coach in his first ever NFL game on Monday Night Football. And not only is it Monday Night Football, but the teams that traded Russell Wilson is now a Bronco. The Broncos will be on the road at Seattle. Russell returns home. My good friend gets to have his first game under his belt as an NFL head coach, and he gets to start his NFL head coaching career on Monday Night Football. What do you have for the Broncos at the Seahawks?
Well, Nate should be real pleased to have someone like Russell Wilson there. And, of course, I think he wins the game easy. It'll be a nice homecoming for Russell, but he's always been a top-flight quarterback, and I know he signed a big contract, so he's got to make his money.
Yeah, me and PJ are going Denver Broncos on this one. Nate Hackett, Monday Night Football. I want you to let that sink in, bro. Monday Night Football for you in your first ever head coaching opportunity. So excited for you, so happy for you. I'm going with the Denver Broncos, and listen, no quarterback in the NFL has changed the trajectory of wide receivers like Russell Wilson's one move did. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton shoot up the draft boards for fantasy football. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett fall down. Tyler Lockett fell very far. Some people are still hoping DK gets it. I guess they're hoping that Geno Smith throws it at one of the defenders, it bounces off his chest plate, and DK Metcalf catches it. I guess that's where we're going here. PJ, before we hop out, we did get a question that came in that I don't want to miss. I promised Greg we'd get to it here. So the question that came in was, let me see here. We had, I don't know if we can go back to it here. So it was the race between Ohtani. We have so many comments that are on here, PJ, that we can't get back to every single comment. So the one that came in was Ohtani and Aaron Judge both fighting for the MVP. Who do you think gets it?
This is, Ohtani deserved it last year, and he should be thought about this year. But Aaron Judge is having a season for the ages. I mean, Ohtani, you can't question his talent. I mean, frankly, either one of these guys are deservable. But I think Judge has got too much. He's probably going to break the Babe Ruth record and Billy Bonds, whatever the hell record they got. And I really like Aaron to keep watched last night. I watched him last night.
Yeah.
And they were in a situation where it was a 2-1 game or something like that. In Minnesota, the pans in the Minnesota dugout, and the manager puts up 4 fingers. And, of course, they walk Aaron Judge without even pitching to him. And that's the problem they're going to have. The teams that are independent races are not going to get beat by Aaron Judge. If you have to walk him 4 times, you'll walk him. But he's still good enough to win the MVP.
Yeah, I got to say, between the two of them, both talented guys, Ohtani and Judge, but look at the state of their teams. And to me, I think that has a place in it, right? Ohtani's playing incredible. Judge is playing incredible. Look at where the Angels are. Look at where the Yankees are. It's why I think that Sean Tucker won't win a Heisman Trophy, because he's at Syracuse. And I think it's unfair. I think it's wrong. But if you look at the state of the two teams, I think you got to go with Aaron Judge right now. I mean, he's the face of the Yankees. And Ohtani, as good as he is, I just, listen, I think Judge and where the Yankees are right now command him to win it. So I'm going to go with that. We are going to put that poll up in a week from now. PJ and I are going to give you the results. So I'm going to let you decide on Twitter at ColeDT. Who do you think the MVP should be between Ohtani and Judge? We're going to put that up today, and we will get to see 7 days of you answering. So Twitter at ColeDT, that's CALLDT. Follow us there, vote in our polls. We put polls up all season long. PJ, as I appreciate, as always, I appreciate you being here. And, Will said, I agree with you, Sean's not going to get a fair handshake on this. And yeah, I think it's because I think if Sean Tucker was at Alabama or Texas or USC or Oklahoma, he would, we'd be talking, or Florida, we'd be talking about a potential Heisman, but I don't think he's going to get a fair deal because of, Syracuse. And I don't think nationally that they get any respect. And obviously they haven't won in a while. So it's a tough pill to swallow, but Sean Tucker's a tremendous player, and I have all the respect in the world for him. PJ, as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Our picks are in. They're going to be up on the website. You'll be able to look at them, and we're going to keep a running tally all throughout the season. So, as always, Papa Joe, I appreciate you. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, have fun. Bye.
Take care. That coming from Papa Joe. With that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. When we spin back around, we'll be here in the Cafe Kubal studios with Duke Pettijohn on the line right after this.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Syracuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
Everything is good here. We got Duke Pettijohn here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. And Duke and I were together last season. We were on a couch with Rob Carpenter and Rob Drummond. And so we got to have ourselves a very nice time and can't wait for the opportunity to do it again. In the meantime, we have Duke here with us, Syracuse Orange defensive end alum of the Syracuse Orange, and of course of professional football as well, carried on his career past Syracuse. Duke, a fantastic piece of the Syracuse family, and love the fact that he has represented us then and continues to represent us now. You're here with us on youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all / wakeupcalldt, wakeupcalldt.com, and on facebook.com / livenowdt worldwide. We appreciate however you're tuning in inside of the Cafe Football studios, as I have the honor and the privilege to bring back onto the show someone who is no stranger to the broadcast, Duke Pettijohn. Duke, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Dan, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we got to get back on a couch sometime soon. You rolling up to Syracuse at any point?
I'm trying to figure out now. It's funny. I just texted my son earlier when his bye week was. I was gonna try to come up there for a game, bring him up there for a game.
Yeah,
and experience the dome.
Yeah, we would love to have you up here, and we got to definitely have some fun with Rob and Rob when we sat on the couch and we got to talk about then and now for Syracuse. What can you say about? I mean, that was a really, and I want to let you know, Danny Tome, the owner of the Wildcat, we were talking about it last night, and he loved that. So, you obviously left a good impression, and Drum and Carpenter and everybody that's been on that couch and whatnot. What did that mean to you to be back around the guys again and be able to, talk ball and just kind of sit back on the couch and reminisce a little bit?
Actually, it was awesome because actually that was my first time meeting both Robs, having a chance to meet some older alumni and some more legends in Orange history was awesome. Don't forget James Munro there too, so that's my guy. So it was good seeing James again.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
Yeah, we had James come in during the show there and sit in with us and spend some time together. And when you have that brethren and when we all get to sit there and have that round table discussion and whatnot, what do you appreciate most about being a part of the Syracuse family, be it a teammate you had on the field like James, or be it Rob and Rob that you were meeting for the first time?
It's a lot of, younger players, to see, the bond, across, generations, of Orange football, that we're, able to connect and, reminisce on, some of the same experiences and be able to share those with, the younger guys and, the older guys who haven't had a chance to, get back and reconnect. It's great. It's great for the program and, to be able to come around and, be around the program still, to help, get it back to its glory days. It was just a great experience, to be able to do that. And, hear all the similar stories, that they had compared to ours and, and talk shop on what's going on in the current state of the program. It was just a great time.
That coming here from Syracuse Orange defensive end alum Duke Pettijohn joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios, reminiscing here about what we got to do last season, sitting on the couch with a bunch of Syracuse alumni and having some fun repping about football and just things in general. We talked about where Syracuse used to be compared to where Syracuse is. Having seen this first game of the 2022 season, do you have hope for what's coming in Syracuse?
I do. I'm definitely encouraged, with the direction of the program. To be honest, I can speak for, a lot of guys that I spoke to. We were a little disappointed, in, where we were and how things were looking. but to see the product, on the field this first game, and it was a lot of bright spots, man. Especially on the defensive side. They looked dominant and it looked sustainable. And being a defensive guy, that's what excited me. And with a great defense, it gives your offense time to develop. And with a new offensive coordinator, get into the swing of things. But man, they were clicking, on both sides of the ball, and it was exciting. I can genuinely say I was, re-engaged, after that victory.
Yeah, and seeing them start off 31-7, not only in a victory, it was the first time in 6 years they got to open their season at home, and it was against a rival in Louisville that they've played every season since 2005, except for 2013 when Syracuse left the Big East and Louisville was in the American for 1 year. This streak, though, of 2005 to now, except for that one season, is about to go away, as the ACC from 2023 to 2026 is going to test out a no-division 3-5-5 model where every ACC team has 3 permanent opponents every year, and then they play half of the ACC 1 year, the next year they play the other half, hence the 3-5-5 of half of 10 and then the other half. So Syracuse and Louisville playing every season except for one since 2005 to now, almost 20 years. So, all this time they played against each other since 2005. That's going to go away next year. What do you think about the fact that Syracuse's permanent rivals are BC, Pitt, and Florida State, and the Louisville game is going to go away, and Syracuse will only play them twice every 4 years from here on out if they keep that model?
Yeah, if I had my way, I would make our permanent games, former Big East teams.
Yeah.
I would like to see it be, Pitt, Miami, and BC be our permanent games. But that Florida State one doesn't make sense.
No, and that's the one that's thrown everybody off. I said, okay, I was like, Pitt makes sense, BC makes sense, and then Louisville has no rival in the ACC outside of the fact that they have history with Syracuse and Pitt. So it's like Louisville's kind of been thrown out to pasture with a bunch of randoms, and then Syracuse gets Florida State, and I was like, this is a recent back and forth, and and you think about it, it's like Northeast for it's like BC's in Massachusetts, obviously Pitt's in Pennsylvania, and then Louisville was that other team inside of the Big East, and instead Syracuse has to travel down to Tallahassee, Florida. It's just a very weird makeup, but it also and I agree with you. I think Syracuse should be playing Pitt, BC, and Louisville because Louisville has genuinely no true rival that they're going to be going up against. Miami, they've had, I guess, some back and forth with, but it's Louisville's kind of like the odd man out in this new 3-5-5 model.
Yeah, it's just I think it goes to show. Because there are still, there's a lot of us, former players that we still have allegiance to the Big East, and I think if that thought went into the decisions, let's keep these Big East rivalries, alive.
Yeah.
That goes a long way to revenue as well, because you're gonna keep the fans engaged. We're used to those rivalries. We're not, when you manufacture try to manufacture new rivalries, there's going to be resistance from, the old heads. And like you said, that Florida State one is weird to me. Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't, and I completely agree with you. Syracuse, though, looking at what they have done, you were talking about that first game, and in this game they have against Louisville, and wanting to remind people this will go away, unfortunately. But starting off, as a former player, Duke, to start a game off in conference, in a division, against an opponent that you have history with, what do you think that does? There was over 30,000 fans. in the Dome. It's the loudest I've heard the Dome in a very long time from Syracuse fans. What were your thoughts on the fact of Syracuse starting off the season with a game that has such huge implications down the road?
Oh, it was. Yeah, well, quite frankly, I was nervous. I'm like, damn, we're starting out, with a tough one, to begin with. But as the game, went on, and you think about it, and both teams have the same mindset. It's a huge springboard into the season as far as confidence. Going into the meat of our ACC schedule. So to get that win early and so decisively, it's a huge confidence builder for us, and hopefully we build on it and expand.
Duke Pettijohn, Syracuse Orange defensive end alum, hanging out with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I'm going to throw some numbers at you, Duke, and would love to get your thoughts on this in the win. Syracuse's offense in the red zone, 4 for 4. 75% of those touchdowns. Third down for Syracuse against Louisville, 6 for 11, 0 turnovers. Your thoughts?
That's winning football. You can't. And what that did was, negate a lot of the penalties that we had, and same as the win. I mean, it's a great building block for the rest of the season. We continue that, and shoot, the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for us. Clean up those penalties, and it would have been a perfect game.
And that's it.
I was impressed, very, very impressed with the new offensive coordinator.
And that was the other part that I was going to jump into. 18 penalties, a loss of 107 yards, pretty much the length of the entire football field. What do you attribute that to when a team has that many penalties? Is that new offensive scheme, some new linemen, new offensive coordinator in general calling plays? What do you attribute that to?
All of that, and shoot, the crowd noise. That's the loudest I've heard it in a long time. The few times I was back up there, I was a little disappointed in the crowd noise. But I heard it coming through the TV, like, okay, yeah, the dome's rocking again, especially on third down. And I attribute to that, new positions, the cadence might have been changed, so all that factored into that. So that's easy to clean up. And I'm sure, before they got into, celebrating a win, Coach Babers, made it a point like we can't have this. And I'm pretty sure that'll be fixed this weekend.
Yeah, and the other side of it, too, taking a look at some things here, special teams. Syracuse went all last season without a special teams coordinator. I can't imagine I can't imagine a team going without an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, and in the same respect, trying to do that without a special teams coordinator. Things look better, and Coach Lig has gotten a lot of positives coming in. Ligashevsky coming into the team and, being the new special teams coordinator on this Syracuse Orange squad. What can you say to the importance of special teams and what you want people to know in general about it? Because Syracuse, typically, if they could get nothing right in past years, their special teams was on point. This time around, we've seen a lot of struggle last year when they didn't have a special teams coordinator, and this past game felt more like normal. So what can you say now that Syracuse has experienced what it's like to not have a leader on special teams, the importance of special teams that maybe goes unnoticed?
Oh, man, it's one of the most important parts of the game that's, good teams, put a heavy emphasis on. And, as you mentioned, that was one of our bread and butters, back when I was playing with special teams with Coach Ribbon, when Coach Ribbon was our special teams coordinator. We had starters, most of the starters were on special teams because that's how important it was. We took the cue from West Virginia, and, put a huge emphasis on it. So to not have a special teams coordinator, it kind of detracts from the importance of it because it makes it a group effort. So I don't think the commitment to special teams is as strong without a special teams coordinator, someone that's, dedicated to, making sure this is a elite unit. So it's hugely important, and I'm glad we have a coordinator now.
Yeah, and Duke, I want to go back to some history for those watching and listening around the world. Syracuse defensive end alum Duke Pettijohn here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I had a little bit of a moment this morning, as I typically do, warranted, that the Big Ten gets this level of respect that they haven't earned. There was a day back in, I don't know if you remember this, it's almost a year to the time that we're talking right now, September 12th, 1998, when Syracuse played a little old team called Michigan. And this guy, Duke Pettijohn, and the Q squad won 38-28. What do you remember about that game?
I remember the loud house being a quiet house. and just we weren't impressed. We felt that we were the better team, regardless of where we were playing. At that time, we had one of the best defenses in the country at the time, and we were just looking forward to going out there and showing what Big East football was about. So my biggest most memorable memory from that time is just how unimpressed I was with the Loud House. To be quite honest, you factor in, they were losing, but still, even at the height of the game, it did not compare to the atmosphere in the Dome at all.
Yeah, and the irony, you're talking about Michigan's Loud House, and they call Syracuse's Dome the Loud House. What when you look back on that time in Michigan and you say that their Loud House was so quiet, is that one of the biggest feathers in your cap as a player, or what other games stick out to you that just make you kind of sit back and smile?
Shoot. Virginia Tech on that last play with Donovan Brzezinski was one of the, I think that was the epitome of the college moments. Winning on the final play of the game, the fans rushing the field. It was I'll never forget that. It was like an unbelievable college memory, man. The epitome of the college football atmosphere. That sticks with me. For the rest of my life, I share with my boys. Just about how awesome college football is.
And there's another one. Well, I want to go back to this season when we're talking about the Michigan game. Going back to the 1998 football season, your team not only won a lot of big games and beat a lot of top 25 teams, the offense was insane. So I'm gonna read off some of these games here. Okay, Michigan 38-28 victory. You defeated Rutgers 70-14. Cincinnati 63-21. You defeated Boston College 42-25. Pittsburgh 45-28. Another game here, Temple 38-7, and Miami in the Dome in the Big East when you were both there 66-13. It's an 8-4 season, and going back to 1998, Duke, I'm saying this to fans right now. I know people fell out of their chairs. I know some people needed lane assist for their car because they just drove out of the lane. There's some people that forgot what happened or didn't know what happened. When I just said 66-13, some people damn near just, they fell out of every seat they could have been in. There's people that spilled their water, just shot it all over, the wall in their cubicle right now. So can we talk about some of these games, please, and especially that Miami game?
Well, I don't know if you have it available. If you just look at that roster that Miami had, and then think about that score. I mean, they had some ballers. I mean, I think they made, if I'm correct, I think they had Ed Reed, who was like probably a freshman, and Sean Taylor, Edrin James, Santana Moss, who else? Reggie Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that game was bananas, man. And it just, like, Donovan just went off. So which made, you know, and we just had fun on, you know, on defense. I don't know how many sacks we had. I know I had 2, and it was just a complete domination of a good young team. I mean, that whole year, that first, the first game of the season with Tennessee, we got shammed. They called a ghost pass interference to get them in field goal. So they barely won that game. That's the year they won the national championship.
Yeah, that was 33-34. That was that game. Yeah.
Yeah, we got shammed out of that game. There was a terrible pass interference call on Will Allen. Ball landed like 10 yards behind the receiver. And they called pass interference. Wasn't even catchable. Yeah, that's another thing that sticks in my gut. Losing that game.
Well, and
but overall, that was one of the funnest seasons that we experienced.
Well, yeah, and you look at the fact that with all of that happening, they only beat you by a point, and then they went on to win a national championship, which shows where Syracuse football was at the time. You know what I mean? And, you know, the roster you're talking about, by the way, the guys you named, add in Bubba Franks and a bunch of other guys here, 11 players on that 1998 Miami team that you defeated 66-13, 11 players on their offense alone played in the NFL. 11. So you didn't beat no chump Miami Hurricane. You know, you beat the Miami of the Miami. I mean, Edgerrin James, Bubba. We're not talking about Reggie Wayne. We're talking about guys that Santana Moss, starter in the NFL. Reggie Wayne. I mean, this is a guy. I mean, Edgerrin James and Reggie Wayne. You're playing with Peyton Manning. You're fighting for Super Bowls. You're consistently winning your division and whatnot. And then you have Bubba Franks come into the mix of this thing. You played some dogs back in the day, and you know, and what I love with the one thing I do love going back to the scheduling thing that's a positive. In the new 3-5-5 model, Miami's going to have to come back and play in the Dome at Syracuse, and I feel like it's been like 115 years since that's happened.
I know.
So
that's why I would prefer to play them than Florida State. Like no history there.
Well, that's the thing. If you give Syracuse a Florida team and you connect and you create that bond, why would you not give them the team that they played for so long?
Exactly.
You know, if Florida State doesn't make logical sense, and they're like, well, it's down in Florida, Dan. Well, Miami's down in Florida, and they used to play in the Dome all the time. So.
Exactly. I mean, if not Louisville, then Miami. Like.
Yeah.
On. But who are we?
Who are we to bring our logic onto the airwaves this morning, Duke? You know,
right.
Who are we to sit here and try and talk sense in a world that doesn't care about sense anymore? You know what I mean? So, but to get, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I mean, yeah, the people making the decisions, you know, have no, they don't have any, you know, real skin in the game. You know, as far as, you know, being a part of these like programs. Hey, poll the programs. Ask the programs.
Ask the fans what games they would rather see. Well,
exactly.
Would you rather see Syracuse, West Virginia, or Syracuse, you know, Tulane? I mean, what would you rather see? I mean, Syracuse doesn't play West Virginia. Syracuse barely plays Miami. You know, Syracuse is not going to play Louisville every year now. There's certain games, and that's what I was going to get to. We just saw Pittsburgh and West Virginia play in the backyard brawl, and that game went to the wire. And Syracuse doesn't play West Virginia unless they have them in a bowl game.
Right. That was an awesome game, and it goes to, you know, what we're saying. Just like the history, that history of that game just came rushing back.
Yeah.
You know, however, I don't know how long they hadn't played each other, but you would thought they were still, you know, they never, you know, stopped playing each other. I mean, that was one of the best games I've seen in a long time.
Let me throw this at you. Favorite rival that you ever played at Syracuse?
Favorite rival, I would say Miami.
Okay. Why?
Miami. Well, shoot, I had a few of them that at least personally that I love playing against, and it was Miami, DC, because I'm from Boston, and Pitt, and West Virginia. And actually, you know what? All the Big East teams were my favorite. I can't even tell you a favorite because every game was like a big game.
Yeah.
I mean, even Rutgers and Temple. Every single game, but the fun games were the Virginia Techs and the Miamis and Pitt and West Virginia. Those were like you were in for it that game. You had to strap up, and it was going to be a all-out brawl all game.
And looking at this, Wes, I want to go back to West Virginia. Syracuse holds the head-to-head against West Virginia overall. 34 wins to West Virginia's 27 head-to-head. I do want to remind everybody that Syracuse has defeated West Virginia 4 straight times. The last time they played each other was in 2018 at the Camping World Bowl, which is now called the Cheez-It Bowl down in Orlando, Florida. 34 wins for Syracuse, 27 overall for West Virginia. West Virginia talked, and the players told me, West Virginia talked smack the first time, got beat, second time got beat, kept talking louder the third time, got beat. The last time West Virginia and Syracuse played in that Camping World Bowl in 2018, I was there at the game. They came to the media in the fourth quarter with it was like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, like 12 minutes, somewhere around, there was a bunch of minutes left in the fourth quarter. They came to us and said, if you want to interview West Virginia, you should probably head downstairs now with 10, 12 minutes left in the game because they had started the buses and they wanted to get out of there. So I just find it funny that the team that talked the most trash was the team that was trying to run out of there before they had to talk to anybody.
Hey, it always happens like that.
Yeah.
They talk a big game and then they get stuff back in their face.
So I mean, I got to tell you that for a team that talks so much trash, to know that they had the buses heating up and they were trying to get out of there without doing any interviews, I think that shows you right there, because I have never seen Syracuse win, lose, or draw run out of an arena. I've never seen that. So
yeah, I mean, but we get it. It's part of it. And that's the way they roll. And win, lose, or draw. We're gonna be the same. And show the character that Syracuse has.
I love how politically charged that was. That you said, hey, they're going to do them, we're going to do us. I know what you wanted. Duke, I've been around you long enough and I've talked to you long enough that I know what you were saying that you didn't just say to me. So I feel you, I understand you, I get it, I respect it, and I'm cool with it. So, but I can honestly tell you that I am so excited that Syracuse will finally get to play Miami again.
Yeah, I am too. And I would like to get to that game. I would like to get to that game. What is that date in that game?
And so Syracuse and Miami in this rotator that they have with each other, the 3-5-5 ACC model is going to have Syracuse and Miami. I'll give it to you right now. So taking a look at it, it gets a little confusing if people look at the picture of it. It kind of gets a little bit out of whack. By the way, I do want to let you know Louisville's, as I'm getting this set up, I do want to let you know Louisville's rivals. They were given Georgia Tech, Miami, and Virginia as their permanent opponents in the ACC. So they're not playing a single former Big East team as a permanent rival, not one of them.
Yeah, we don't even have Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, That's terrible. I mean, that would have been the perfect way to do it. Is to keep, the former Big East teams
together.
I mean, because the same goes for the ACC teams. Keep their rivalries. I'm sure they kept the Virginia and, Virginia Tech rivalry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and what it also does, back to your point on, allowing, maybe former players and fans say on, what games to keep them engaged, and brings more, brings more fans, back to the game, if they left because of these, rivalries that'll be returning. I don't know if that thought went into, these schedules.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, and it's unfortunate. I mean, Wake Forest, Dave Clawson, he brought up when I was talking to him about the model at ACC kickoff that they've played NC State for over 100 years straight, and they're in the same state, and they weren't even made opponents against each other, so they're not going to play each other anymore every year.
Wow.
And those are two teams that were in the ACC, so not former Big East. And to take a look at this really quick, you wanted to know when Syracuse plays Miami. In 2024, Syracuse will have Miami in the Dome for the first time in forever.
I'll be there.
Bro, you need, number one, get yourself up to a game so I can get you on a couch and we can hang out for this season. And in 2024, we need to do it up big, and you and I need to see what we can do about getting some of your teammates back for that game as well.
Oh yeah, that won't be a problem at all. That won't be a problem at all. Me and Keith Bullock, we talk fairly often, trying to coordinate. I think coming up there. Actually, I think he'll be up there for the Notre Dame game. So.
Yeah, so we got to make it happen. Duke Pettijohn. Duke, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this last thing about Syracuse's ushering in of the season with a 31-7 victory. I put out a tweet at halftime that Syracuse and Louisville had no turnovers in the first half. And after I put that out, Louisville turned the ball over 3 straight times. And so 2 interceptions, a fumble, and a recovery, almost 4, with Michael Jones spinning off his defender in the middle of the offensive line, sacking Malik Cunningham. He fumbled, and his offensive lineman recovered it. What would you like to say about a defense that forced 3 straight turnovers, Garrett Williams running back in the open field in single coverage to get an interception in the end zone to prevent a touchdown, Derek McDonald getting his first ever interception as a college football player when he came in for Stephon Thompson, who went out with a season-ending injury. Your thoughts on how the defense looked in the first game?
Hey, my thoughts were they were hunting. I mean, they were getting after. They were violent, rallying to the ball, and I felt the pressure that they were putting on Louisville. I mean, there was no hesitancy. There was no, they weren't unsure about where they knew where they were going to be, knew they were better, and it showed. And I was loving it. The only thing that threw me off was the 81 got an interception. I'm like, what? My tight end got an interception. I'm like, what? Who gave him that number?
Well, and that's the funny thing, and you're not the first person to say that. And I said to Derek after the game, and the interview's up on YouTube.com and Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, so check it out. But I said to Derek, wearing number 81, I said, you kind of look like your typical tight end self, because in high school he played 2 ways as many do, and he was a tight end and as well on the defense. And I said to him, I was like, you caught that ball like a tight end. I thought he threw it to you on purpose. You know what I mean? So when you said 81, a lot of people thought that. It's like, oh, it's a completion to our tight end. Yeah.
Yeah. Did he pick that number?
Yeah, that's his number. So.
But if I was a defense coordinator, I would veto that. I'm sorry. I would have this. That's like a 300-pounder with a number 0. No, we're not doing that. Just the optics of that is, no.
Yeah, I'm cool with it though.
Yeah, that was a great play.
And you talked about the defense was hunting and they were getting pressure on. amongst the 3 defensive linemen on Syracuse, there were 2 total starts amongst all 3 of them. JT Gear was in his first ever start. Terry Lockett was in his first ever start after both coming onto the team last year, and I've known them through the recruitment. Great guys. And also another great guy, Caleb Okechukwu, had started 2 games last year. So amongst the 3 of them, none of them were a starter at the start of last season, and only 2 starts to Caleb. So what were your thoughts coming off of how they played? All of them as first-time season starters, and 2 of them as first-time starters overall.
I didn't know that, and that's impressive. And it's a testament to their position coach, having them prepared, 1, but 2, instilling, the confidence in them, their ability that, regardless of how many starts you had, you belong. I can tell that's the message that they, that he was hammering with them. That's what, great position coaches, do is, they're great builders of men and, bringing out, you recruited them.
Yeah.
So, you got a good athlete, but, there is, nervousness and, apprehension, do I belong? I don't want to mess up. And I could tell he prepared them great for that game, because I didn't even know that. I couldn't tell that they had never started. I didn't do it. None of them were offsides, no silly penalties that are, you typically see with, guys who haven't started because they're, jittery. The D-line coach did an outstanding job of having them prepared, man. And defensive coordinator, for sure.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And to go back here really quick for the Miami rivalry here, Syracuse has lost 5 straight against Miami. The overall record against Miami is 7-15 for Syracuse. And the last time that, how about this? The last time that Syracuse and Miami played each other was on my birthday in 2017. They played on October 21st, 2017, lost in Miami Gardens 27-19. The last time Miami's been in the Dome was back on November 30th of 2002. So when Miami comes back into the Dome, it'll be the first time they've been in the Dome in 22 years.
Golly, that's crazy. That's crazy. That should not happen.
22 years, and how about this? The last Syracuse winning streak against Miami was when you were playing.
Yep, I know that.
So lot of story just to build y'all up for a couple of years from now when Miami plays up against Syracuse and does it in the Dome. Duke, as always, I appreciate you. Love having the time with you. You, James, Rob Carpenter, and Rob Drummond made my day back last year. Looking forward to doing something again soon. Obviously, we'll keep in touch. Let me know when you're coming up. And I got all the respect in the world for you, man. I'm happy we've had you on the show, and I'm happy we built a friendship. And I'm very honored by the fact that I get to just text you and get in touch with you because you're one of the greats in Syracuse history. You brought us a lot of wonderful success, and above everything else, you've given me your word and stayed true to it, and you've been there when I needed you, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely, Dan. I appreciate you having me on, and I love this. This is fun getting to chop it up about Syracuse. So, hey, anytime, man. Anytime, I got the time and available, you can give me a shout.
Awesome, man. Well, let's hold down the South for us, and I'll talk with you soon.
Oh, no doubt. All right, take care, man.
All right, be good.
All right, bye.
See you. That coming from Duke Pettijohn one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We're going to take a quick step aside inside the Cafe Kubal studios. When we spin back around, we will wrap up today's broadcast, get you set for, I can't even believe it, it's already Friday tomorrow, so we'll get you set for what's coming up, let you all know once again how you can hang out with us tonight in the community for the Bills game. I want all my Bills fans at Pizza Man Pub because we're going to give you an experience you've never had in Central New York. I'm very confident of that. So we'll talk about that right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners, where you can find them. So make sure you head out there to Sweetheart Corners today to their drive-through location and have some fun out there at their drive-through in North Syracuse, and of course on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their double-decker cafe, which I was just out at a couple days ago. So make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. Support local and make sure to support your Central and Upstate New York community that we love so very much and are so happy to be a proud part of. So You got the picks from Papa Joe and I. We gave you our picks, gave you everything all set up there and ready to go. Our first college football picks of the season, as well as our first NFL picks as we head into week one and picked every single game. So PJ and I will be making our picks throughout the college and pro football season, and we'll continue to talk about baseball and, of course, everything else that comes up. So a lot of great time with Papa Joe today inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', and a fantastic time as always with Duke Pettijohn, Syracuse Orange defensive end alum. And the last time that Syracuse beat the Miami Hurricanes was with Duke on the team, and that's when Miami had Edgerrin James, Bubba Franks, Santana Moss, and Reggie Wayne on the same team. And they didn't just beat them, they blew them out in the Dome, 66-13. Crazy. Awesome conversation with Duke. Make sure you go back and check it out. We'll be putting it in our archives, and you don't want to miss a beat of that. Once the shows go live, we put them into the archives here, and we'll have them on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, TuneIn, Spotify, Podvine, Stitcher, and YouTube. All you have to do on any one of these outlets is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. That's Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you do that. We're going to take our final step aside and get you ready for Friday's broadcast right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638 1234 or order online at pizzamanbeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Back here inside the Cafe Football studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Want to thank you for being a part of this show and every single broadcast that we do every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're listening and watching in Central and Upstate New York, as well as the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, all available worldwide. Of course, on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT as well, and on WakeUpCallDT.com. So, however you're tuning in, thank you so much. And after the shows go live, as I said before the break, you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as other outlets, just by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond: Cafe Football, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, as well as Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Mother's Cupboard, and now Chick-fil-A Watertown, which will be opening at the end of October, coming up very, very soon. We are also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Proud to have the Dolphins on with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we appreciate them so very much. You can hear your Dolphins during Dolphin Time every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You can hear from your Dolphins here on Wake Up Call. First and third Wednesday is AD&DT. Every second and fourth Wednesday is the Dolphin Dive. AD&DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And every second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive dives into stories from student athletes, coaches, administration, as well as future Dolphins and alumni. And all of that content is on the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com for our library of videos, as well as on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Make sure you click subscribe. And for more information on your Dolphins, go to lemoynedolphins.com. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are also exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you monthly, and you just had 6 specials with the men's and women's soccer team combined. We had one-on-one conversations with Carrie Welsh, Gabby Cordero, as well as Jessica Shepard, and Haley Elsey of the women's soccer team at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. You also had a roundtable discussion with the ladies, and you had a roundtable discussion with the men's soccer team head coach Nick Dimitrievsky, as well as Giovanni Galina, Sean Eltador, and Felipe Pampolim, all on the reigning national championship men's soccer team and the reigning national championship women's soccer team. Back-to-back national champions are here in your community of Syracuse, New York, right off of James Street. Go to Bryan and Stratton if you're looking to take some classes, if you're looking to finish a degree, if you're looking to get your degree, no matter what your age is, head off to Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse on James Street and get the information that could help you in building your better future. Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. All of our content on the BSC SYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Make sure to click subscribe on both. And for more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, I want to thank my fantastic guest, Papa Joe, for every Thursday, Duke Pettijohn, Syracuse Orange defensive end, alum, for being a part of the show many times, including today, and you for being here with us. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, like us there, and follow us as well. On Twitter, follow us at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. Always stuff on my Instagram story, so make sure you check it out. And if any of it is signed by me, that is a personal quote from me to you that I wrote and came up with to try and help you on your day today and in your days in the future. At WakeUpCall_DT on Instagram. Make sure you check out the story. In the meantime, as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. I hope you repair every bridge that you may have broken. I hope you keep every bridge strong that has been strong for you. I hope that only good things happen to you today, tomorrow, and every day. I hope you learn from your mistakes, and I hope you always